Hey, District 8, it's PGA Career Consultant Jackie Madison. This month's career moment is about a little acronym I used to use with my staff called DIRAFI. What does that stand for, you ask? Did you read and follow instructions? So, we talked about this quite a lot throughout the season. In a busy season, it's inconceivable how much time and effort is wasted, as well as dollars cost, because we fail to read and follow instructions. And I thought this was important to discuss this month because I'm in the process of helping a club, a pretty recognizable club, and a pretty big job find their next head golf professional. And these are just some of the mistakes that I found in this job search from people failing to read and follow instructions. So let's talk about this, how it applies to your job search. So the first thing I would tell you is read through all your correspondence thoroughly, then follow the instructions in that correspondence and make sure to adhere to all the deadlines that you see. These are some examples of ways DIRAFI played out just that I observed in the last week. An email was sent describing the next steps of the process, and at the conclusion of that email was asked to be confirmed by a simple reply to the email. 50% of the candidates who were selected to advance to stage one failed to reply to the email, which meant that I had to pick up the phone and make a phone call. And when I talked to them, most of them said, oh, yes, they did receive the materials. Now, that's cost me a lot of time and effort that I could have been using to do something else. And it told me that they didn't read the instructions. So the second thing is not adhering to deadlines or waiting until the last minute and then encountering technical difficulties. So there's some pretty firm deadlines in some of these job searches, and you need to do things that are online. You need to submit additional materials, or you need to submit a recording, and those things have a pretty firm deadline. And there were several candidates who waited until the very last minute to start the process, and then they had some technical difficulties and their deadlines expired. So that tells me that they don't prepare and they don't plan in advance. Those are not things that you want your prospective employer to think about you. Some of the last two would be not dressing appropriately for a video interview. In those instructions, they were told to treat the video interview with the same reverence that they would treat an in-person interview. So that would be suit and tie for men, dress apparel for women, and seeing people dressed casually for their interview is a real turnoff to a prospective employer. And finally, not paying attention to the background visuals or background noise when they do this. You would always have your interview in person in a quiet and undisturbed environment, and your video interview should be the same. So make sure that you think about DIRAFI. When you are looking for your job, read and follow all the instructions for application. And if you are selected to advance, make sure that you read extra thoroughly and carefully and follow the instructions so that you give the best possible impression to your potential employer at the very outset of the job search. That's all for this month. If you have anything that you need, any way that I can help you, please feel free to reach out. You can reach me at 612-852-4910 or the email address on the screen. Thanks and have a happy Thanksgiving.